Hey there, I'm Tim McKay, and I want to talk to you today about business valuations and how the math works.
Let's jump right in. Let's say, for example, you've got a business doing $2 million in sales. All right, so there's top line revenue there. Let's say you're at 10% profit margin. All right, so you're the boss, you're running it. All right, so what does this work out to in terms of profit is you've got 200,000 in the bottom line, net. All right. Now, as an investor, what I am most interested in is this bottom line number initially, because this informs me on what I'm going to be doing about how to consider the other factors and how to build out a multiple based on comps in the industry that are similarly characteristic, similar profits, similar team compositions, things of those nature. So within this space, valuation would probably be in the 1.5 to, let's say, 2.5x. So what does that mean? It means that to come to the valuation, we would take the $200,000 multiplied by 1.5 or multiplied by 2.5, and that would be the range within the comparable sales in the market. So this works out to $300,000 to $500,000. That is what the valuation range would be for a business doing $2 million at 10% profit. You're running it, and there's your profit, and there's your valuation multiple. All right. Now let's say, like I hear this expression a lot that we want to grow it, sell it in 3 to 5 years. Let's talk about that. Let's say all goes according to plan, and a few years time, let's say in 5 years time, you've now doubled your sales. You got $4 million in sales. Now for easy math, what we're going to do is, let's say you've grown the team. Let's say you got a little bit more profit optimization. Now you're at 15% profit margin here. Now, one of the other things you've done along the way is to get there is you, as the owner, have realized I need to hire more people, and so now you have a team ultimately managing your business. Okay, so let's come through, let's work the math through again. So now you've got $600,000 of net at this stage, because we have come from $4 million at 15%. So you got $600,000 net. Now, a couple interesting things happen here is that we're now going to talk about the multiple in a little bit different way, because in this way, we're talking about something called SDE, or seller discretionary earnings. And on this side of the house, because there's a few more professional team members involved, you've got people that you can rely on. You can walk away from the business for more than, let's say, 6 months, and there's no change in how the business runs. So now we can look at EBITDA. All right. Sorry for my writing. So let's say, based on these parameters, this business here is in a much better situation. So you're probably in, let's say, a 4 to 5x range on your multiple. So what that obviously does builds you a much different picture in terms of the valuation you're going to get for this business. All right, but there's a couple of twists and turns here, because at the end of the day, you want to get to this place here, get your big bag of cash. That's the goal. You're trying to get to that point here, and you want to get that range of money. So you need to get this much profit. You need to have this team in place. You need to have this profit margin. You need to have this thing here. And the reason I'm drawing a correlation here is because, let's say the industry is typically only at 12%. So what does it say is initially you were below market. Now you're above market. So that's a strong indicator that this business faring well in the open market will do better than other ones. And I have less risk as an investor, that I can take a little bit of a chance that when the team transitions over to my control, a little bit of profit can sag, things can go down. I can take this little more cushion there, because I know that even at the industry kind of average, I'm still up 3 points, so I can still kind of recover and I don't have to worry about it falling into kind of this kind of territory here. So when I'm considering how to get to this multiple here, there's a number of really important things. And again, I'm coming back to, okay, in a period of time, we've said we want to double, we want to get to 5 million in sales, or 4 million in sales here. So that is, of course, very important to see that that happens in a way that I can repeat as the new owner of this business. But like I've already touched on, this one here is really important because I need to understand, have the existing owners taken out certain expenses or laid off certain team members that were necessities for driving this sales. Doesn't help me very, very much if to get to this percentage of profit, you fired off two of your key sales guys, because then it means this is not going to come to pass when I take over. So that's what I look at is, what's the quality of this profit? How good is that? And then I'm going to look at here, when I take over, I want to look at how seamless will the operation function unimpeded by my interaction. So if I was just putting my name on the door and taking the other owner's name off the door, I want to have confidence as much as possible that the team can run and keep going. So these factors here fundamentally drive what this is doing here, and therefore fundamentally drive if this is going to happen. And if any of these kind of factors start to say, you know what, this isn't real, there's all sorts of, gremlins in the ointment here, so to speak, this bag of money may not even happen. You may have built a bigger a business with bigger book of business, but the probability of getting to the point of having a valuation that you actually want may not be possible. It may be 3 to 4x because of all these factors. And that makes a big difference down here at the bottom line. You're not going to get that we want. And if some of these factors don't tick off the boxes, no one's even going to show up. No one's going to want this business because they'll say, you know what? They made all these radical changes in the last couple of years. It's not sustainable. I can't repeat that. And it was only because of the favors the current ownership called in, or because the team members are also retiring. I can't continue on. And so there's all these other things that need to be factored in so that I know that this profit can be met, because at the end of the day, I'm going to use the proceeds from the business to pay the prior owners, whether it's seller financing or whether it's to an SBA loan. I need to have the free flowing cash in order to pay for that financing on the back end, right? So this is why I'm explaining this, is because I want you to understand a little bit what we do at Alleviated Risk is we look at these factors in advance. And some owners are looking to sell in, let's say there's this timeline here that I hear frequently of 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. Sorry, this pen is terrible. Now, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to, work with you to, in the same, what I can do, I should say, is work with you as the current owners. If you're trying to get to this point, you want to get this high number here, that pen is dead. You want to get to this point, you want to get to this point, and you want to get to this point, I can help you get there. And you're going to probably say this 3 to 5 years is doable, but I have the ability, I have the knowledge and the know-how to bring that in 1 to 3 years time, because I have a much different perspective on how the industry works, and there's a much different way, different set of tools I can bring, because if you had already come to this point, you would have been there. We wouldn't be talking today. You wouldn't be listening to this video. And if you've been here and trying to get there, I can accelerate that timeline, because what I'm going to do is I can partner with you and put together a blueprint that will get you from here to here and from here to here with a much better timeline, because we can go through the same processes as if I had acquired this business here. I'm going to do a number of steps to get it to this business here, okay? And what I can do is I can partner with you to do that while you retain the equity, And all I really ask for is maybe let me buy it at the end. And so I have the blueprints, I have the strategies, I have all the things in place. The team, I got the the know-how, and we've got the ability to finance expansions and all sorts of techniques to get your sales and marketing to function in the way you want. We can get optimization in your organization in a healthy way, so that you're able to drive through this net profit, and at the same time help you drive through a culture of change so that the business is ready to move forward, and that the key team members who are pivotal to ensuring this will happen, this net profit, will give you long-term stay, and then we'll give you a culture of readiness so that you can get to your big bag of cash. And that's what I want to do, as I want to help you get there. I just want to help you get there sooner, de-risking all these things so that you actually can achieve it. Because what I'm afraid of, every time I hear the phrase, we're gonna do this big push, we got a couple of strategies in mind, but the reality is sometimes if you just did nothing, you'd actually get this better here. This is probably, it could be a better deal, because you could end up getting to a place where you might have this, but guess what? I'm going to tell you, and I see this too often for you to not know about, but I kid you not. The problem is only 1 in 5 businesses will ever sell. These are broker-led listings, right? So only 1 in 5 sell. So that means 4 of you out of the 5 watching this will end up just closing. That's a pretty sad thought. Your legacy's gone, nothing. Because a lot of companies make all these changes, they do all these things in a way that makes your business undesirable or appear, and it's not that it is high risk, but it appears high risk, so it scares off an investor. For example, let's say you'd carried on this whole path, all right? Now, what does this look like if all of a sudden this is still at 10%? Right? But if I'm a savvy investor, I know that the industry average is 12. Well, these guys went from 10%, and I would see that in your books. They went to 4 million in sales, but they didn't fix a profit. It's still at 10%. So it tells me that this team here can't get me to 15%. That's a warning for me, because now I say, I'm looking at 10 other companies and saying, these guys over here, they got to 15%. I'll pick those guys over this one. And therefore, you get no deal. You're one of the 4 that didn't get a deal. And that's a really sad situation. I don't want to see anyone do that. I think that is completely preventable, avoidable, and I want to see everyone get the success that they want, because it scares me to no end to even think about how much value is walking out of the industry every day just because of that. Because life can change on a dime. We are all mortal. Good things and bad things happen to all of us. And sometimes if you're not ready, if you're only a year, if you're into your 3rd year of this process and you're still only at 2.2 million and you don't get the profits, and because you've hired the wrong sales guy, and I've been there, I've done that too. I've hired a guy, he didn't work out, I lost 80,000 on him, and then I hired another guy, that was another 15,000 I lost $105,000 on people who didn't get me to my future sales. And so that's really tough pill to swallow. So I don't want you to make those mistakes that I did in the past. I want you to take success. And here it is. It's a simple way to get going, is to contact me at Alleviated Risk, alleviatedrisk.com, or better yet, let's just do this. This is a horrible board. I think it's going to trash right away. Look at that mess. You go to sushi with tim.com, free 30 minutes. Let's get you going here. Let's get your business on track. Let's get you to your exit right now.